Dr. Khan, you've heard various arguments, and I'm bringing you in last for a good reason, because the academic perspective usually trumps the commercial and the government perspective, because you have nothing to do with anybody else, right? They all have interests with each other. But being an academic, give us your view. We have a killer app called Facebook, 500 million users, which is now the third largest country in the world. It's India, it's China, India, and Facebook, right? Almost no advertising, no campaign, no awareness, completely based on user pull. And Facebook clearly has ramped up its infrastructure to service 500 million almost overnight. Yes. Does Indian business lack that killer app, one killer application that's going to bring businesses in a flood onto the internet?
The killer app, as you said, will come if businesses want them. But you know, it's important to look at what SMEs do in India. It's not just 35 million SMEs. It's another 40 million in the informal sector. So we're looking at a near
micro, small, one-man operations, one-woman operations.
100 million firms, and they don't want to be on the web. The reason they don't want to be on the web is who is their customer. The SME typically deals with a larger firm. It's one customer or two. Why would you want a web presence to do that? The second reason is that most of our transactions in India, commercial transactions, are non-monetized. They are cash transactions. We don't want to pay taxes. So why would you want a web service where your transactions are tracked?
That's a brand new angle to the discussion.
1% of us have credit cards. So what do 99% do with a website that will allow them to do transactions with a debit or a credit card? And finally, it is the security issue. Even now, when I use a credit card to work on the Indian Railways side, I am worried, will this be a secure transaction? And therefore that becomes very critical to explain to everybody that look, it is your hard-earned money, we will protect it, it will not go anywhere, there won't be credit card frauds, there won't be emails from Nigeria.
And even if there is, you're insured against that credit card fraud.
Even then.
Okay, then my next question to you is, who's going to bail these cats? Who's going to bail the security cat? Who's going to bail this cash transaction cat? Is it going to be a regulatory issue? Is it going to be a private industry issue?
I think what's happened, especially in the regulation on money, is this whole exogenous factor of the US depression. You see, what that has done is that it has told all our bankers, especially our Reserve Bank, that be careful. Don't do what the US has done. And the reason why we are doing so well in India and did not face the crisis was we were very tough regulators. So we want to be tough, we want to be slow. And therefore, this takes a backseat. The scams haven't helped. There is no reason why anybody is going to say that, why isn't it being pushed and come early. So there is a regulatory aspect to it, which I think is the primary aspect. And that when it eases up.
Excessive fear, you think?
Excessive fear by the regulator, understanding what regulation means. And on the other hand, this financial inclusion. See, if 70% of the population does not even have access to banks, it's a far cry from having access to
the internet,
and
to understand the concepts of e-commerce,
of using credit cards. So that will be the time when SMEs and whatever. Certainly, Facebook doesn't need credit cards, and that is why you have 500 million there.
Right. I'm going to change topics a little bit. We spoke about internet and business first. I'm going to switch to internet and governance, and regulation is a good point to take off.